A wise old man by the name of Benjamin Franklin once said, "A failure to plan is a plan to fail." What should NC State do if they can't get PJ Haggerty?
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Our Friday show is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. If you're headed to the Doak this weekend, this might come in handy for you. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use that promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Happy Friday to all. As always, I'm Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. Kenton, we spoke yesterday on Thursday about PJ Haggerty at the NBA Draft Combine, showed out very well, played well in his scrimmage, is measured pretty well, except for his physical attributes, a little bit undersized. But by all accounts, it seems that he's having a very solid week at the NBA Draft Combine. But his comments still sparked a lot of fear in a lot of Wolfpack fans, saying that he is committed to the NBA draft process and he's invested in going throughout the week. I think it's worth talking about, but I do want to reiterate, nothing has changed for me. I feel very confident that Will Wade and NC State is in a great spot to land PJ Haggerty. And this is a testament to how good I feel about this, because I don't even like Jeff Goodman, but I'm using him as a reference. Jeff Goodman said on his podcast, The Field of 68, that it would be an ill-advised decision for PJ Haggerty to stay in the NBA draft, being that he's going to get a good lump of money from NC State if he chooses the Wolfpack. He's going to play for a good coach in Will Wade. He's going to play in a good backcourt alongside of Trey Holloman. Everything makes sense for PJ Haggerty to end up at NC State. And if he is to make a decision to stay in the draft, it's a risky one. He's not been on the mock drafts, and a lot of times doing well in the scrimmage doesn't really do much for your stock. Like, for example, what really changed between Monday and Wednesday? He played well in a scrimmage. That's really it. Nothing has really changed there. So I remain in the same stance that NC State's in a good spot. But Kenton, if NC State doesn't get PJ Haggerty, if at some point this goes left, what do you do from there?
Well, I think that you go find the best quality guard that you can in the portal and kind of rock out from there. I mean, you talk about Jeff Goodman saying this would be an ill-advised decision and all that. And here's the deal, right? I keep repeating this. And I will say this a million times for not just our listeners and fans, but also for young student athletes. You need good counsel in your corner. You need an objective third party in your corner, or not even an objective third party, but a third party that's not blood related to you 9 times out of 10 to tell you, hey, this may not be what you want it to be. You know, you may not get what you want to get out of this deal here. And so, obviously, I would expect PJ Haggerty to come out of the draft and, come on and play for NC State. But if he doesn't, you just kind of move on. You know, you can't – at the end of the day, the same way that I talk about don't let one loss turn into 2, I say the same thing about recruits. Don't let missing on one recruit turn into, well, we're not going to try for the next one, or, well, we're not. At the end of the day, it is what it is. If a very strong recruiting pitch, if a very strong offer package, if all that stuff is not enough, hey, more power to you. I hope everything works out in the league for you.
So expanding a little bit on your point, basically, if at some point this goes left, because I got to thinking about this. Some people also asked us this question in our YouTube comments. What if, let's just say there's other schools in a situation that's very similar to ours? You're basically waiting on one of your more coveted players to make a decision on the NBA draft or coming back to school. What if there is another school that gets essentially surprised by the decision made of XYZ player, and all of a sudden they have a vacancy to fill this late in the game? Perhaps they have some money left over with that newfound vacancy. What if other schools make a very late push for PJ Haggerty to come to their program? It's possible, and I think that's why, in part, it's worth talking about. It's very possible. Nothing at this point is set in stone, as nothing has been set in stone throughout this entire offseason, the way the portal works. But if you're NC State, what Kenton said there, go out and find the best possible option that is still on the board, because there's still a couple. And that's another reason why NC State being so meticulous and careful about their decision-making to this point. You're in a spot where the best players that are still available, hello, welcome to NC. We find ourselves in a very favorable position to make a run at a guy if we need to. And so 2 more names I want to bring to the table here. Not saying they're likely, not saying it'll happen, but if it goes left with PJ Haggerty, I think there are 2 names to be considered. The first one is Boogie Flan. He's a guard from Arkansas. He was also involved with the NBA Draft Combine, but has already retracted his name from that. He's looking to return to college basketball. He averaged 13.5 points for the Hogs last year, 3.2 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 37.9% shooting from the floor. Only a freshman as well. So he's got a lot of eligibility to stay in college if he chooses to. Played for John Calipari last year. That's a high mark on your resume as well. Very talented scorer. Perhaps Boogie Flan could be an option, Kenton.
And one thing about a Calipari coach guard, they were the primary ball handlers. They are the ones who initiated. Coach Cal, I'm sure that you all have seen the story where DeMarcus Boogie Cousins is talking about the time that he pulls down a rebound and he pushes the break and he gets an assist that leads to a bucket. And Coach Cal stops the drill and says, hey, stop all this. That John Wall guy is going to be a number 1 draft pick. The minute you get a rebound, you pass him the effing ball and get out of the way. But plenty of his bigs have a similar story about, learning the hard way. Hey, his guards are going to be the primary ball handler. So you talk about the assist right there. You talk about the fact that this is a combo guard that while Boogie can score, he's also always looking to get other guys involved and all that. I'm not upset at all if, hey, PJ decides to go to another college or if he decides to go to the NBA. And I will say this, regardless of what decision he makes with either one of those 2, either way, it is essentially the same result for NC State. If he decides to go to another college, if he decides to go stay in the draft, either way, you're not wearing the red and white of the Wolfpack. Like that's, so I don't think that the plan changes depending on, he comes back, but now he goes to another school. Again, you just move on and, you get a Boogie Flan or somebody of the likes that, again, still a very quality player.
Not so much a change, just more so of a pivot. You just re-rack, get back to the drawing board, and find out your best possible remaining option. The other option that could be on the board is Desmond Claude. Now, Desmond Claude is a 6'6" guard from USC. That's Southern Cal, not the one in South Carolina. Averaged 15.8 last, 3.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 48.2% shooting. That's an impressive number there. But 30.7% from beyond the perimeter, so the majority of his scoring is coming from inside the arc. I've seen both, actually, Boogie Flan and Desmond Claude linked to Florida, the Gators, defending national champions, but neither one of them obviously has committed up until this point. And so that is where, if NC State needs to, if it's a necessary situation, you could fling some pennies, some dollars their way. Both are extremely talented guards. Both have an apt for scoring at a very high level, can distribute the ball at a very high rate as well. Flan had 5.1 assists, Claude 4.2, both good numbers to have there. Kenton, what are your thoughts on potentially Desmond Claude being in the mix?
I think Desmond Claude is a little bit in the same vein. Florida is known for being masters of the go. Just go, whatever is happening. You've got to push the pace, push the tempo, and they play with a certain edge as well. So, at the end of the day, both of these guys, good options. If you miss out on the PJ Haggerty sweepstakes for whatever reason, both of these guys are good options. I feel good about either one of them joining the program. And more importantly, I feel good about Will Wade. So because I feel good about him, I'm not particularly worried one way or the other in terms of if we get these guys or who we get in this situation. I think that we built out this roster well enough to where even if we don't get the one of these 3, we're still fine at guard. Because again, Grace and I have talked about it, Nazim. There have been times in the past where we were literally one injury away from having to play guys that were not supposed to be playing at the anything above maybe the mid-major level. And that's not a situation we're in, even without Haggerty or Flan or Claude. So, I look at that and I say, I think we'll be okay either way you cut or slice it here. Obviously, you would like to have one of these 3, preferably Haggerty. But, even if not, I think that this roster is constructed in a way you'll be okay.
The roster so far is good, but there's always room for better. That's why it's so interesting to be in the mix for a guy like PJ Haggerty or Flan or Claude, 3 high-level names that are still left. I trust in Will Wade. I am 10 toes behind Will Wade in whatever direction he's going to lead this program in for the remainder of the offseason. He has not led us astray yet. Anytime that we thought there was some misdirection, he followed it up with a very great get in the portal, whether it was a Jerry Dang or a Paul Mbia from the Clouds. I have full faith in Will Wade, regardless of however the sweepstakes goes down. I do want to put this out there, though. I feel good about PJ Haggerty. Everything that's written on this wall next to me right here, everything makes sense for hashtag Haggerty to State. So don't sound the alarms. I understand some PTSD. We get it. I talked about it last week, but all the cards and the tea leaves in my fingers right now say that NC State's in a good spot, regardless of where this thing goes. Coming up next, we're getting into Fan Friday, addressing our top comments of the week. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors. Our first Friday sponsor is Gametime. There's simply nothing like the NBA playoffs. The intensity, the buzzer beaters, the fans losing their minds. It's the kind of atmosphere that you must experience live. And with this year's matchups, it's delivering. If you want in on this, Gametime makes it fast and easy to find your seats, even for the biggest of all playoff games. Prices on the app will actually go down the closer you get to tip-off, and with killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views, and zero surprise fees, Gametime is a total game changer. You can see your exact seat from their seat view in the app before you buy, so you have zero surprises upon arrival. And the app makes it ridiculously simple. 2 taps, and just like that, you're on your way to the arena. And also with the Gametime guarantee, you know that you're getting the best deal. If you find a better price in the same row and section on another app, they will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, and again, create an account and use redeem code LOCKEDONCollege. That's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Middle portion of our Friday show. Now time for Fan Friday, addressing our top comments of the week. Here we go. First one comes from Baypack. They say, with all the tight ends, does this mean that we will have Joe Lee be a strictly pass-catching tight end with limited or no blocking duties? Maybe we see the other tight ends in more run sets to block for Hollywood. I'm really intrigued to see how Roper goes about it. We have a lot of firepower, and we have the personnel to run a couple different type of offenses from air raid to pro style. So this obviously comes with the addition of Nebraska tight end Ian Flint that we spoke about earlier in the week. Kenton, what are your thoughts now that we have, I believe it's 5 different tight ends on this roster? Do you think they sort of use Joe Lee for specific situations in pass catching, or are you looking to use a multitude of tight ends in a multitude of ways?
I would say it's much more of the latter as opposed to the former. Let's be honest here. Justin Joe Lee is not the world's greatest blocker, but what tight end is in today's game. And he's a much better blocker than people give him credit for. He's a much better blocker than people give him credit for. He is a guy that gets in position. He's willing to put in the effort and all that. He shows up. He definitely is in position knowing where he has to be. So I don't think that you have to take him out altogether on running downs. And then even beyond that, last year we had a guard playing the position that was somewhat of a tight end. He was always going in motion and leading defenses to exactly where the ball was going to be. You need tight ends. You need tight ends to come in and do that type of stuff because that guy has to be a threat to slip out and make a catch and potentially do something with it after the catch. So I think after what we saw last year, this was definitely a need. And, you know, with the transfer of Juice Vereen and some other guys graduating and whatnot, you were looking at a situation where this tight end room was going to need some replenishing to some extent. And so I don't think that we're going to go as far as being a pro-style team, but I do think that some of these tight ends could be utilizing heavy packages and whatnot.
A little bit about what I've been saying about this is having different types of tight ends. It also makes you versatile in the way that you can run different sets. Like perhaps you can do a twin tight end set this year. To Kenton's point, we tried it out, the heavy package. It went terribly every single time we tried it. All those plays seem to blow up in the backfield every single time. So hopefully we can avoid that this fall. But no, something I've been interested in hearing about is Cody Hardy, the tight end from Elon. And I even saw that Coach Dave Doran down in Amelia Island, they asked him one player that he has his eyes on, and it was Cody Hardy. So clearly Cody Hardy has been turning some heads in his ability to run block, but his ability to also be a pass catcher on the backside of that makes him dangerous. And you know why that makes him dangerous? Because it makes Justin Joe Lee even more dangerous. If you can have a twin tight end set and either one of them can kill you going down the field, then that opens up the running backs, opens up your wide receivers. It opens up the whole damn offense. And so I think having multiple uses for multiple different tight ends, it gives you a whole arsenal for CJ Bailey to use at his disposal. So I think adding to the tight end room certainly makes some sense. And obviously not all 5 of them are going to provide contributions this year either. But when you're looking at Cody Hardy, you're looking at perhaps Dante Daniels, and you're looking at Justin Jolie, it could turn out to be a 3-headed monster in which the defense is essentially picking their poison. They have to guess what they're about to see based on the capabilities of all 3 of those guys. So I love the versatility and the depth they have at that position, and seemingly looks like it can open up a lot of doors for the offense. Next one comes from T to the Rock. They say, regardless of what Haggerty decides, these are the guys we want Wade and his staff being involved with. You're going to miss on some of them, but be involved. Wade's going after the right dudes. Could not have said it better myself. And something we spoke about with Will Wade probably like months ago at this point when he was in the early stages of becoming the head coach. You're instantly going to see higher level talents attracted to NC State because of who Will Wade is as a coach and as a recruiter. And to see him work so far in this offseason, you got former McDonald's All-Americans, former 5-star guys, former top 40 players coming out of the high school ranks, the second-ranked player in the entire transfer portal with PJ Haggerty. You're seeing a very quick shift in the level of talent that NC State can attract now. Also, instantly signed a 5-star kid out of high school with Matt Abel right out of the gate. So to Trevor's point here, this is what you want to see from Will Wade. You do want to see him involved with some of the top-level guys in the country. And also, like you said here, you're not going to have a 100% success rate. You are bound to miss on some of them. But if you keep getting in the final couple decisions for some of these guys, you're bound to hit some of them on the other side of that. So to see PJ Haggerty potentially deciding between NC State and staying in the draft, or maybe another school if it comes to that, that's where you want NC State to be. You want to be in the room with your foot in the door to attract these 4-star, 5-star top players in the portal. With Will Wade, that's possible every year. It hasn't been possible at NC State seemingly ever, but with Will Wade, you better believe it. We can do things like that now.
Absolutely. And even beyond that, again, we're talking about year 0. We're talking about never having coached a single game on NC State sidelines, and these are the guys we're involved with. If this is what we're doing off vision alone, when the reality starts to set in and the rest of the nation starts to learn some reckoning, it is truly going to be difficult to keep those, 5-star guys away from Raleigh. Because again, the proof is going to be in the pudding. Hey, do you see what we did? Hey, you see how we've now consistently been in the mix for the ACC and all that? You see how we're in the mix for a top 3 to 4 seed, maybe even higher, maybe even potentially fighting for a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament on a regular basis? That is to me, when your ground floor, when your absolute low is, hey, we're competing for these guys, I want to know what the ceiling is. I want to go all the way up.
We've yet to see the ceiling, and that's exactly what you're talking about. We've yet to even find out how high that ceiling can go, and that is, again, that's where you want to be if you're NC State. And last one here comes from NCSU 1475. They say, we build statues of our coaches around here. If Will Wade is successful here, there will be no reason for him to leave for anywhere else. He has the potential to be a legacy coach for North Carolina State University. Yes, this is exactly what I was saying on Thursday. Sure, the SEC can come calling in a couple years if Will Wade is very successful at NC State, takes us to the dance a couple times, maybe wins a couple conference titles, maybe even gets us to the Final Four again. Sure, maybe some bigger fish, so to speak, can come down the line and try to attract him. But what if? What if Will Wade creates a dynasty in Raleigh? What if he creates an empire, an evil empire? We might be, for once, the evil empire in the ACC. If he reaches that point, then why leave? If you have the resources, you have the fan base, you have the administrative support, you have the facilities, if you have all of that, if you created all of that, then why leave? That is possible. And I know how crazy that sounds talking about NC State. I know it's crazy. We've never been in a situation like this, not even with Jim Valvano, because the circumstances were wildly different. But I'm telling you, believe me when I say this, it is possible. There's a mountain of work to still be done, obviously, but that is what NC State and Will Wade should be striving for. You could be building something real in Raleigh. It's not crazy. It's not a dream. It's not a fantasy. It can really happen right here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
I'm sorry, but I wholeheartedly disagree with you, Grayson, in terms of oh, well, what if a bigger fish coming along or something along those lines? 1946 through 1990, we did not have a single coach whose winning percentage was under 65%. So I wholly resent this idea that there is a bigger fish coming, because guess what? You are the big fish when you win. Was UConn always a national power? Here's a fun fact. A lot of people don't realize this. A lot of our listeners will, but a lot of our younger listeners who are Grayson's age or my age or younger will not realize this. UConn has won all of their national championships in terms of men's basketball in Grayson and I's lifetime. All of them. Every single one that they won. People are now having the conversation of, are they a blue blood? Why? Because they became that with Calhoun. I'm trying to keep our clean rating. I'm trying my hardest. But it is so frustrating to consistently hear, oh, Will Wade, he's not going to be around there long. He's not going to be around there long. And yeah, I'm talking to you again, Andy Patton. And yeah, I'm talking to anybody who agrees with Eddie. Oh, he could be gone after 2 years. And how good of a stint is it? I want to ask y'all this. When Will Wade was originally supposed to be coming here, when I got word and it came down and we were talking about hinting at Will Wade coming here, what happened after that? Was it smooth sailing? Was it, oh yeah, NC State's definitely got him in the bag, Grayson?
No.
It was, oh, Texas is coming now. Oh, buckle up. Buckle up. It's going to get intense now. Why would I buckle up in a non-moving vehicle? You explain it to me. These folks sit here and act like NC State can't have nice things. Damn it, it's here. We got it. And I mean this from a very genuine place. Wolfpack Nation, you should be offended. You should be wholeheartedly offended with the guys from Locked On College Basketball for insinuating, oh, Will Wade is only going to be there for a year or two, but meanwhile, nobody else has the ability to be poached by a bigger fish? No, so NC State has to be afraid of a bigger fish coming for basketball, but Miami doesn't? Oh, yeah, the great white shark that is Miami basketball. Oh, yeah. Quick question, Grayson. Outside of Isaiah Wong being there, when's the last time they went to a Final Four?
Ever? Have they ever been to one before that? I'm going to look it up.
Oh, okay. So, again, it is only NC State. We are the only ones that get talked about with this type of BS, and I'm sick of it. And Wolfpack Nation, you should be sick of it. And you should tell people whenever you hear this type of nonsense, oh, there's a bigger fish coming to get our guy. Well, that's so interesting, because why are we not afraid of bigger fishes coming to any other school? The only other school that I can even see there's no bigger fish coming is Duke, sure. But every other team in the conference can have the exact same thing happen to them. But for some reason, NC State should be the only ones in fear of. To hell with them and to hell with that idea. Will Wade is here, and as long as he's here, I'm going to be excited about him lighting up the charts. Because, again, we are riding down Wade Avenue now, baby, and we know exactly what he's bringing to Raleigh.
Wade Avenue, baby. We're on Wade Avenue. And also, I was right. Miami's only been to one Final Four, and it was 2 years ago. So that proves what Kenton's saying. There is like this embedded narrative because of, 30 years of mediocrity that NC State can't be anything. They'll never be anything relevant again. With Will Wade, the math can very quickly change on a lot of y'all nationally. The math can change very quickly on a lot of y'all regionally in the ACC. If this hits, if this works out the way that it can on paper, you will see the fibers and the fabrics of college sports change. Let's be real about something. The country's not ready for NC State to be a superpower in anything. We've been unhinged for 30 plus years, waiting for our moment in the sun, wondering if it would ever be sunny again on us. We had a brief glimpse of it with a Final Four with Keats, but what if the sun was out all the time? So look out for everyone that thinks that NC State, they're NC State, they're little NC State, they're going to fall flat on their face. They always do. Gone are those days. We've already broken the NC State poop curse. That's gone. Keats got rid of it. It's over. There is no more NC State poop. That's gone. If Will Wade gets successful, don't let him get hot. Don't let him get hot on Wade Avenue. It was almost written in the stars that Will Wade become the head coach at NC State University. Buckle up, ACC. The reckoning is well on its way. It's coming down Wade Avenue, and it's coming in hot.
So again, people are shuffling their feet, and I like it that way. I like it when these folks are disheveled and reaching for whatever conspiracy theory to try to take NC State down, because again, that's fear. I can smell it. I can smell your fear. I can feel it. It's palpable, and I'm enjoying it because lovable loser syndrome is gone. We don't got that no more in Raleigh. We believe that we're going to win. We believe that good things are coming our way. I believe the baseball team is going to do what they need to do to send Elliott Avon off in the right way. I believe that Will Wade is going to be here at State and dominate ACC and the NCAA for years. I believe that because I don't believe that we are forever relegated to second-class citizenship in ACC and national sport. I don't believe that, and you shouldn't either.
Coming up next, we're talking some Pac-9 baseball. They're currently finishing up. They have a one-run lead in the sixth. Can they hold on? More on this after a quick word from our sponsors. Our second Friday sponsor is WayFair. The days are getting longer, the weather's warming up, and people are wanting to spend more time in the outdoors. That means it's the perfect time to refresh your outdoor living space. Whether you're working with a big backyard or a small balcony, WayFair has everything you need to make it feel more like you. WayFair's massive selection of outdoor essentials makes it easy to transform any space into your ideal summer setup. From comfy conversation sets to sleek dining tables and outdoor decor, they've got it all, and all at the prices that fit your budget. They have an excellent mix of styles that they offer, and Wayfair makes it super easy to find pieces that match your vibe without spending a fortune. The delivery is both free and hassle-free, even for all the big stuff. Whether you're entertaining guests or just relaxing solo, shop Wayfair to help you unwind. Shop a huge selection of outdoor furniture, and this summer, get outside with Wayfair. Head on over to wayfair.com right now. That's Wayfair, 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 wayfair.com. Every style, every home. Last couple minutes of our Friday show, talking some NC State baseball. The last regular season series of the year this weekend against the Stanford Cardinal. What turned out to be a little bit dicey of a first 4 innings on Thursday night in Game 1 resulted in a very comfortable 7-2 victory for the Wolfpack. We talked about the importance of these 3 games. You have to have all 3 to put yourself in a comfortable position to take first place in the ACC as far as the regular season goes. Going out and going 1-0 to start the weekend is exactly what you need to do.
When you talk about sweeping, you eat an elephant the same way you eat a chicken nugget. You know how that is, Grayson?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. One bite at a time. And you had to take a few bites Friday. Things weren't exactly or Thursday, rather. Things weren't necessarily perfect, but you know what? You got what you needed to do. You got the dub, and that's all that matters in this one. Continue the momentum. Continue it, because the Dirty Foot Club, those clowns over in Dirty Footland did us a little bit of a solid, as they call it. So, keep the momentum going. Keep rolling. Let's get it done.
With NC State winning on Thursday night, also the Dirty Foot Club beat Florida State on Thursday night. So what does that mean? NC State is now lofted back into current position, first place in the ACC standings. And that was the one roadblock that we needed to remove. So now destiny is completely in the hands of the NC State Wolfpack. Once Florida State lost, NC State bumps back up. So now we are a half game on anyone behind us. And NC State, if they win their next 2 games, that's all they have to do. They win the regular season title for the ACC. They lock up the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament. And potentially, you put yourself right back in that conversation for a national seed in hosting a regional. So 7-2 victory for the Wolfpack on Thursday night. Ryan Marone got it rolling on the mound early. Gave up that early home run, and it felt dicey at the time. But once the NC State offense finally woke up in the 5th inning and later, turned out to be a relatively comfortable victory. Anderson Nance took over in relief, 3 2/3. He gets the save, actually, a long save, but only 3 hits allowed, no walks, 2 strikeouts. And like I said, turned out to be a very comfortable victory in Game 1. So now it's on to the next. Obviously have to go one game at a time here. You cannot put the cart in front of the horse, but what more could you possibly ask for if you're NC State? The roadblock is removed, and all you have to do is focus on winning the next 2 ball games. Rom-Com Dom will be on the mound for the Wolfpack on Friday evening. right back at it in game 2. Remove all doubt. Don't let it go to a third game on Saturday where you need another situation to happen somewhere else in the country. Finish it in Raleigh. Finish it at the Doak. We don't want to have to rely on the Dirty Foot Club to win again this weekend because PU, who really wants that anyway? NC State is 2 wins away from handing Elliott Avent his first regular season title in his entire tenure at NC State. 28 years has been chasing a situation like this. It is 2 wins away. 2 wins away. Also, with this win on Thursday evening, they officially lock up a top 4 seed in the ACC, regardless of what else happens in these next 2 games. So great win on Thursday night, and now we're hungry for more. We're on to Friday. Rom-Com Dom will have the ball on the bump. Who better? Who better to put the NC State Wolfpack 1 game closer to accomplishing their goals?
What a time to be a Wolfpack fan. What a time. Again, send Avent off the right way. This has been something that we've been chasing all season. We're here now. We're here. It's 100% on you. Grayson and I can talk about the fact that it's 100% on you, but players, don't think about that. Go out there and do your thing. Go out there and do your thing. Again, all of it is done the same way. All of it is done the same way. And keep everything routine. I know baseball players are extremely superstitious. Don't change nothing. Don't change the gum you chew, how you chew it, your pregame meal. Don't change not a thing. And let's get this sweep done.
Game 1 victory by a score of 7-2 over Stanford. Right back at it Friday night in game 2, one step at a time, inching closer to that regular season title. That will do it for us here on Friday. As always, thank you all so much for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button, drop your comments in the comment box. Give us your thoughts on the continued sweepstakes for PJ Haggerty. If NC State and Will Wade has to pivot in another direction, which direction should they go? Any other comments you have on NC State baseball, NC State football, anything else that took place over the course of this week, drop that in the comment box as well. Mash that subscribe button. We'll see you right back here on Monday with hopefully a little something special to celebrate. But until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.